there has quite literally never been an easier time to make money on YouTube than right now. So in today's video, I'm gonna explain the 3 reasons why every single business owner needs to have a YouTube channel and precisely how you can get started with it today. Look, everything is about to change. We're living through a time where people's entire buying processes are changing. And it doesn't matter if you have an agency, if you're a consultant, if you're an infopreneur, or just any other form of online entrepreneur. The principle remains the same nonetheless. And that's really not hyperbole, because the way we do business actually fundamentally changes every 15 to 20 years. Think about it. I mean, just in the last 20 years, the likes of Google, Facebook, Amazon have really revolutionized the way that we do business. Just like the invention of the assembly line revolutionized business in the 1800s, the exact same thing is happening now. The only difference is that the current revolution is a silent one. So what is this silent revolution? Well, it's built upon the notion that people's buying decisions are no longer made by the amount of information they have or who has the best marketing. Now, people make buying decisions based on who they actually trust the most. And a decade ago, that was the exact opposite. So what's the antidote to this silent revolution? Long-form video. Now, long-form video has been around for really decades, so what's the difference now? You see, long-form content on YouTube has gone from really a nice to have to something that is literally the bedrock of your entire business. And that's because the YouTube landscape has shifted away from just a bunch of monkey dancing entertainment stuff into actual content that helps buyers make conscious decisions. You see, the only way you can build true trust and connection with your customer is through long-form video. And that has never been more important than in today's age. You see, for the first time ever, any business can not just benefit from YouTube, but can massively change overnight. Luckily for you, there has quite literally never been an easier time to make money on YouTube than right now. So in today's video, I'm gonna explain the 3 reasons why every single business owner needs to have a YouTube channel and precisely how you can get started with it today. So what are those reasons? Well, the first reason is that we are currently in a trust recession. The second reason is that the entire attention economy is rapidly shifting and YouTube is at the center of it. And the third reason is something that I like to call content compounding, which honestly is almost like the 9th wonder of the world in the same way that compound interest was the 8th. Now, if all of that sounds confusing, then don't worry, because if you watch till the end of this video, everything will become a lot clearer and you'll be left with all the information you need in order to get started today. Now, before we begin, I'm sure you're wondering, who the hell is this guy? Well, for the last few years, I've been creating stories that sell on YouTube, and I've helped business owners exactly like you generate over 8 figures directly from YouTube. And now I'm here to teach you exactly how you can do the same. So with that, let's jump into the first reason as to why every single business owner needs to have a YouTube channel. As I said, we are in a trust recession, and there's really no denying that. And as a result, the way by which people make consumer decisions has entirely changed. Trust in institutions and companies alike is at an all-time low. In fact, as much as 73% of people actively distrust their institutions, and over 70% of customers actively distrust the companies they interact with on a daily basis. That means 7 out of 10 people will not trust your business. So that raises the obvious question: how do you change that? And the answer is uninspiringly simple. You just have to create long-form content on YouTube. And here's the data that backs that up. You see, 87% of YouTube viewers have actually made a purchase after seeing that product or service offered on YouTube. And as much as 90% of people see that YouTube plays an integral role in their buying decisions. But why YouTube specifically? I mean, why not go to TikTok or Instagram or any other sort of platform? And the answer is because short-form content creates a passive and almost casual relationship between you and your viewer. Whereas long-form content on YouTube is the only way in which you can actually build and then leverage that trust. That's precisely why the majority of Gen Z actually believe that YouTube is the most trustworthy platform to be on. Think of YouTube not dissimilar to the TV revolution of the 50s. I mean, everyone who was on TV became far more trusted than those who were just on radio. And it's the exact same thing with YouTube today. Because 10 years ago, YouTube was just an entertainment platform, but now that is no longer the case. And in an age where marketing has essentially become synonymous with branding, people actually just want to see who is actually behind those brands. Because the truth is, people buy from people, not companies. And that's precisely why YouTube is so powerful, because it allows for you to have that connection with your viewer and actually build trust. You see, the internet, and even more so AI, has really democratized access to all information. I mean, you could literally just Google or ChatGPT virtually anything and get an answer in a few seconds. So lack of information isn't what prevents customers from making a purchasing decision. It's lack of trust. You see, people simply don't crave information. What they crave are perspectives. They crave opinions. They crave someone they can relate to, someone whose story they can latch onto. And YouTube provides the exact platform you need in order to achieve that. In fact, in this attention economy, there are two reasons why YouTube essentially owns the market, and we're going to get to that in a moment. But there's also a psychological reason as to why YouTube is so powerful when it comes to creating those relationships with your audience and thus your customers. But I want you to actually dwell on that for a moment, because there's literally a psychological principle that mandates that you will create trust between yourself and your viewer if you post long-form content on YouTube. I mean, that means it's virtually psychologically impossible for you to fail because of this one principle. So, what is this principle and how does it actually work? You see, when someone hears your voice, when they see you, when they see your facial expressions, when they see how you move, that creates a parasocial relationship. In simple terms, it means that the viewer feels like they know you, even though they've never met you. And by extension of that, your viewers begin to implicitly trust you. And that is why YouTube is such a powerful platform, because it literally psychologically compels people to trust you. And that is why YouTube is the #1 method to combat the trust recession that we're all living through. Now, in an economy devoid of trust, there's only one thing that is maybe even more important than trust. And that, my friend, is attention. Because as I said, the truth is, people buy from people, not companies. And the connection between people will always be greater than the connection between a person and a company. I mean, of course, that's really the essence of the creator economy. The creator economy is not about being the craziest dancing monkey, getting the most views. That's not what it's about. The creator economy is about having the ability to create that connection and that trust with your customers before they ever even become customers. I mean, let's look at supplements, for example. 20 years ago, the supplement industry was dominated by one company, GNC, and this was a multi-billion-dollar company. Yet in the span of the last 20 years, as the creator economy has just ballooned, GNC is no longer a major player in the supplement space. I mean, sure, it's still a big company, but just think to all of the competitors that have popped up since. And all of them have, to a lesser or greater degree, leveraged creators in the process. And it's not because they want to, it's not because they want to be cool, but it's because leveraging a person is what builds that trust that then makes people want to purchase a product or a service. But anyway, in an economy that is devoid of trust, there's only one thing that could potentially be more important, and that, my friend, is attention. And that brings us to point 2, because there are 2 reasons why YouTube essentially owns the attention economy. So, what are those 2 reasons? Search and stream. Let me explain. You see, most people don't realize that YouTube is actually the 2nd largest search engine in the world. Every single day, millions and millions of people search for a solution to their specific problem on YouTube. And your business could be exactly what they're searching for. So by not being on YouTube, you're forfeiting all of that traffic, which, by the way, these are problem-aware people. These are people who want a solution. And they're literally searching for it right there on YouTube every single day. As a matter of fact, YouTube has over 3 billion monthly searches. Just imagine what it would mean for your business to get just a tiny piece of that pie. By the way, 3 billion is more than Yahoo, Bing, and AOL combined. I mean, YouTube is only second in search to Google. And even then, Google actually reports that 80% of people who search on Google complement their search through YouTube. Mind you, this customer behavior didn't exist 10 years ago. This is a shift that is happening right now, and you have to be at the forefront of it. The second thing people don't realize is that YouTube is actually the largest video streaming service in the world. In fact, YouTube has over 2.5 billion monthly users. That is 6 times greater than Disney and Netflix combined. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that there's literally no bigger or better platform to put your content on than YouTube. And if you still think that Instagram or maybe TikTok is better suited, let me put that into some perspective, because YouTube is 25% larger than Instagram, and it is almost double the size of TikTok in terms of active monthly users. So let's move on to the third point as to why every single business owner needs to have a YouTube channel. I'm sure you've heard of compound interest being referred to as the 8th wonder of the world. Well, the third reason why every business owner needs to have a YouTube channel is because of something that I like to call content compound. Now, content compound is honestly almost like the 9th wonder of the world. I mean, that's how important it can be to your business. So let me explain how it works. Because when you build on YouTube, you're actually building an asset. And as you know, there are 2 ways you can get traffic for your business, either paid or organic. Now, of course, when you pay for eyeballs, you're doing just that. You're renting someone's attention. But when you get their attention via organic, they're choosing to give you that attention, which means you have to acquire their attention once, and then you will almost always have it in perpetuity. And that is why YouTube is so powerful, because you're building that audience, which you'd otherwise spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions on, in order to acquire. Whereas with YouTube, you can get their attention once and always have that asset. But here's the most important thing, because this asset will pay you dividends in perpetuity. So I mean, why wouldn't you spend months or years building it when you know that once you have it, it will always continue to serve you? Instead of plowing all that money into ad spend, which by the way, 80% of ad spend is now going into video ad spend. So instead of plowing and throwing away all that money renting attention, you can actually just spend some time and acquire it on your own so that you can reap the benefits of it literally in perpetuity. So let me explain how all of that relates to content compound, because that's really the beauty of YouTube. Because if you post on Instagram or TikTok, 48 hours after you post, your post is basically dead. It's not going to get new traffic. It's not going to be noticed. No one new is going to see it. And it's kind of just going to sit there serving no purpose. But that's not the case on YouTube. When you post on YouTube, every single video becomes an asset that will serve you in perpetuity. Because unlike Instagram, unlike TikTok, a video on YouTube isn't dead after 48 hours. In fact, it's only just beginning. Very often it takes months, if not sometimes years, for that video to keep compounding. But that's the thing, it keeps compounding. So you could ROI off a video in a week, and you can continue to ROI on it for years to come. I mean, hell, I've had so many clients who have posted videos months ago, and then they get a new customer, and lo and behold, that customer found them through that very video they posted all those months ago. Because each video, as I've said, is an asset that will continue to serve you. But here's the real beauty of YouTube. Because 10 years ago, YouTube was a game of views. It was a game of who's the best dancing monkey. But that is no longer the case. In fact, now it's quite the opposite. YouTube has become a game of not views, but curated small audiences. I mean, I have so many examples of clients of mine that have literally just a few hundred, maybe a few thousand subscribers. They get a few hundred or a few thousand views per video, and yet they are making 6 or 7 figures per year just off of their YouTube presence. And that should tell you something, because there is really no other way in which you could get only a few thousand views and have that kind of ROI. I mean, you'd have to, literally spend thousands and hundreds of thousands on ads to get the same result. Whereas on YouTube, you can curate a small but qualified audience that just wants to buy from you. And the reason is because they trust you, because you have their attention, and because they come to you already being problem aware. And if they're not, then you make them problem aware through your content. You see, building a YouTube channel is just another way of building leverage. And the truth is, it's the only way you can combat the trust recession. Because people crave real. People want to buy from people, not faceless brands or large corporations. They want to buy from you. They just need to get to know you. And that's why you need to leverage the fact that YouTube is the largest streaming service and the second largest search engine. Because there's so much traffic that could go your way. And the bar for success is really so low. Because again, years ago, you'd have to get millions of views. Nowadays, you can make 6 and 7 figures with only a few thousand views. And of course, in the process, you will continually benefit from the asset that you've created. And all those videos, well, they'll keep serving you for years and years to come. And that means the only way forward is to start creating long-form content today. And it's really, really simple. You just need to start. And if you want to learn precisely how to do that, feel free to book a call with me using the link in the description. And with that, I will see you in the next one.